Hello everybody, this is the second video that I was talking about, the second installment of my motorcycle classes. The first video was about some different obstacle courses that we've done as well as some practice exams. Now this was our first time actually on the road. So I also mentioned in my previous video that this is the beginning of April in the northern states, or provinces, as a Canadian would say, because I am Canadian. Well, it is bloody fucking cold. And when I say bloody fucking cold, I mean bloody fucking cold. Like right now it's maybe 8 degrees Celsius, which I would say is maybe 45-ish Fahrenheit. Let's see here, let's see what Google says. Yeah, that's exactly it. It was about 45 Fahrenheit, and it was freaking wet. Now, this wet was hell. It was worse than hell. I am wearing a 100% waterproof orange vest because we had to for the class, but whatever. My gloves completely soaked, my fingers underneath even more soaked. Then you have, on top of that, my pants. I'm wearing 2 pairs of socks, long johns, sweatpants, and then jeans on top of that, plus my waterproof pants. Holy fuck, it's cold. Like, it's insane. I guess that's what you have to do when you want to ride, I guess. The way it works in Quebec is you have your classes. As soon as you're done your classes, you have to do a closed course exam. Once your closed course is done, you have to do a open road exam. So pretty much you have an examiner in a car behind you and he tells you go left, go right, go left, go right. Whatever, that's pretty much it. Now, we have to wait 11 months from the time you pass your closed course exam to be able to do your open road exam. So I did my classes in April to do my exam in May, to then have to wait 11 months to do my other exam, so that I can do it again in April next year in 2015 and have my entire summer in front of me to ride. And this guy is so fucking funny. He stalled his bike like this 3 or 4 times during the ride, and he had no idea why. He was not able to get the clutch in at first. He was just always in neutral. So the guy made him come here and, told him, let go of the clutch, let go of the clutch. Finally it went, and then I stalled my bike. Now if you look here, I'm not actually stalling my bike. I had been going maybe 20 miles and I was wondering what the fuck is going on my bike. If I gave it too much gas, it would just die. So I figured I might be out of gas. Now this is a new bike, it's a Shadow, I had never ridden before, and I tell the guy, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he tells me, put the emergency on, the emergency reserve. So I end up doing that right there. Wait, look at that, I'm gonna bend over to the side, look at, yeah. So, oh shit, okay, nice little switch there. I love that they give us a fucking bike to ride for 4 hours and they don't fill the gas beforehand. But whatever, that's just me. So I get my bike going, eventually, and then I take off. And this was actually pretty fun because I was at the back of the pack now and everybody was pretty far ahead. I could accelerate like a little speed demon. Well, not really speed demon, I think I went like to 60 or 70, but with the pack, I can't really do that because there's people in front of me and people on the right, and some jackass in the back keeps pushing me, but I can't go because there's a guy in front of me. Whatever. So that's pretty much it. So what was I saying? Yeah, the exam. So then once the exam is done, I have my full license and I could ride whenever I want. Now the only dilemma about these 11 months that you have to wait is you are not allowed to ride alone. I have my license, I could ride a bike, but I have to have someone with a valid license for more than 2 years to be able to ride with them. So that means most people just go 11 months without riding, which is currently the period that I'm in now, and at the end of the 11 months do their exam and then ride for the first time by themselves. So I've actually been looking into getting my bike, which is going to be a 2012 SV650. that I'm getting used because I don't trust myself with a new bike and fairings and all that, and I don't want to break them. So ultimately this entire season I have not touched a bike. I'm hoping in the next 1 or 2 weeks to buy my bike, and then I found a neighbor of my mother's who rides bikes, and he told me that if ever I want to go on rides, like whenever, during the weekends, during the day, at night, he'd be willing to go with me. So now the only thing left to do is to get a bike. So I understand that this video is pretty boring, we're just riding around, but hey, I don't know if you noticed, the camera is no longer wet. This is because it's the second day riding. So pretty much first day rainy as shit, second day dry because the rain was in the morning, but still as fucking cold. Colder than cold. Colder than a pair of witch's tits on a minus 45 Celsius day. So if you see that nice little water there, that's the extent of the beautiful views we have out here on this little island. Ah, so pretty. But don't target fixate. Yeah, okay. Oh, also I want to state, the guy in front of me, like immediately in front of me, not to the right, but to the front. Holy shit, out of 2 days, 8 hours of riding, I believe he had his blinker on maybe 6 hours. Now I cut out most of the footage, but earlier I put a section that I didn't fast forward because it's boring other than his fucking blinker being on non-stop. But yeah. How did you guys like your first riding experiences? This was the first time on the roads again. I must say, the one thing that took me a bit of time getting used to is other vehicles being around you, because obviously you know they're there when you're in a car, but you don't necessarily feel them, and then when you're on a bike they just fucking pop up and you're like, where the hell did you come from, you son of a bitch? But at least I had a nice Shadow to ride, a nice 600. You know, they ended up screwing me over because to do my close course exam, which I did 2 weeks following this class, I told the guy that I wanted to do my exam with a Shadow 600 because I did my 2 riding classes on the open road with that bike. And they told me, don't worry about it, the exact same bike is going to be at the exam. So I said, oh, freaking awesome, thanks. So I get to the exam, I talked to the guys, and I asked them if I could get the Shadow because it's the bike I always practiced with. So the guy's like, yeah, no problem, here you go, starts it up, gives it to me. So I start rolling with it, and I realize every time I'm turning, like the slow turning in a small radius, the bike is so heavy, I feel like I'm gonna drop it. I have no idea what's going on. So I end up going to the guy and saying, the bike feels really weird, can I have another bike? And then he says, no, we tested it this morning, it's fine, don't worry about it, do your exam. In doing the exam, I'm having a hard time controlling it. In first gear it's wonky, it's doing whatever the hell it wants. I risk almost dropping the bike a good 2-3 times. Finally I get to the last exercise of the exam, and because I was 2 seconds too slow, I ended up failing. So I go back to the guy who I rented the bike from, and the guy tells me, oh, so how'd it go? And I said, well, I failed. And he tells me, well, why did you take the biggest bike we have here? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a Shadow 600. He says, no, it's a 750. So, probably the most powerful bike I've ever been on, never ridden before, never done anything with. And he gave it to me to do my exam. Never mentioned it, never mentioned anything. Now I was under the assumption that it was the same bike that I practiced with, because I asked them during the course and they said yes, it is the same bike. So pretty much you can say it is my fault, it's not my fault, it doesn't really matter. What happened is I failed that first exam, and then I had to wait 2 weeks to go and do it again. So what did I do? I went to Cuba for a week and then came back, waited another week and did the exam again. This time I said no fucking around. I took a Nighthawk 450, passed the exam in 20 minutes, super easy. I believe I got a 92 on 100, and the passing rate was supposed to be 73. So if you have 83, sorry. So if you have below 83, you fail your exam, and I had a 92, 93-ish. So no problem. Oh, other than, you know, the $60 I had to pay to rent a bike a second time, plus taxes, plus the exam that I had to pay to take a second time. That was about 40 bucks plus taxes. Now, about the footage we're looking at. You see the gigantic gap between the buddy in front of me and then the other buddy that's in front of him? We are on the highway, supposed to be going at least 100, and we are going not even 90. This guy was driving me insane. I'm on the highway for the first time in my life on a bike. I want to freaking rip it, and I can't. But hey, let's go 10 under speed limit. Fucktard. Anyways, that's about it for this class, or these two classes I should say, and the exam. Pretty much I passed it. I have to wait 11 months until being able to ride by myself, or at least to do the next exam. I'll try to put a GoPro on and take footage of the exam itself, although I don't think they're gonna let me. I could try to spin it and say, oh, it's for security purposes, but whatever, we'll see. Now we're gonna get off here, stop on the side, and then my video is gonna stop because the rest of the way is just left, right stop signs for about another 3 hours. So we'll call it quits where we are now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks a lot for watching. The next video should and hopefully will be the unveiling of my new SV650 2012. Cheers, guys. And then from that point,